Before Puparia, I had never watched anything that felt like a painting before, and when I say that, I mean it in a very specific way. Puparia doesn't feel like a painting in a surface-level, beautiful sense, though it is visually stunning. When I say it feels like a painting, I mean that in the sense that it gives me the same feeling as when I look at and try to understand a painting. Paintings, and by extension art forms like murals and sculptures, are almost always completely visual, not to mention stationary mediums. All you have is this one, unmoving image with which you must express your ideas, emotions, and messages. This uniformity, if you can call it that, means that whether it is simplistic in its composition or is packed with details, whether it is realistic and grand or abstract and minimalist, every painting forces the same response, or at least in my experiences. There is the initial, visceral reaction when you first see it, those first few seconds where you're just figuring out what exactly it is you're looking at. Depending on the painting and how fast you are, this could take anywhere from less than a second to more than a minute. Then, the observation, where having figured out what the visuals are literally portraying, the thought process becomes more analytical. It is a continuation of the first stage, but far more detail-oriented. Instead of what is this painting, the question essentially becomes, why is this painting? Okay, so this is a bunch of melting clocks on a coastline, one draped over a weird animal under a blanket that seems to merge into the ground. What does this mean? This might involve background research about the artist, who they were, when and where they painted the piece, its name, maybe even what other people have said about it, that sort of thing. Sometimes this isn't necessary though. The piece itself might be enough information to allow you to build your own interpretation, which leads to the final stage. Clarity. An understanding. The moment where all the pieces fall into place and you suddenly get it. You get what the piece is trying to say, what the creator wanted you to know. Of course, this isn't always set in stone. You could meet someone else who has a different viewpoint, or discover new elements that change how you view it, leading the final two steps to cycle over and over until a conclusion is reached. The vague outline can also be applied to other forms of media, but given the unique nature of paintings, drawings, and the like, it best applies to mediums such as those. The more art-savvy amongst you might have heard of a somewhat similar technique developed by Erwin Panofsky, the 3 levels of iconography. But I think mine is different enough to warrant me giving it its own, appropriately narcissistic name. Henceforth, the process I have just described will be known as the Chi after response. Feel free to cite as you wish. But back to the main topic. Puparia was the first time I had felt like this about any kind of animation. It's beautifully illustrated, but also extremely surreal, almost frightening at times. And there seems to be no narrative through line, or at least not an obvious one. With no dialogue and text, all you can do is try and pull together what you can from the visuals, much like a painting. As such, I fell back on the Chi after response in order to understand it, going through the process even as I was watching it. Am I really sticking with that name? Yes, I am. No backsies. Keep going. As I was watching Puparia, something about it reminded me of a zoo. Bizarre animals and aliens play a heavy role after all, as does observation. So, my initial gut theory was that the film was a metaphor on the different ways animals react to attention. Ambivalence, rage, and encouragement. However, I couldn't really go anywhere with this angle or progress further with it, so it wasn't long before I abandoned that aspect of it. But there was that second part, observation. Now that definitely meant something. After all, the film is full of people looking, and special attention is drawn to it. Looking at things off-screen, looking at other things within the world, and looking at us. Well, I say at us, but more often than not, it feels like they're just staring through us. At this point, I decided to seek out other people's thoughts and interpretations on Puparia, to see what they had said, to see if I would agree or not, and how that would inform my own perception of the film. Traven Talks, in his love letter to the film, drew my attention to the listlessness displayed by the humans in Puparia. and their utter indifference to the cosmic, almost eldritch sights and beings before them. They related this apathy to the creator Shingo Tamagawa's own aimless wandering after several years in the anime industry, waiting for something to happen, to move on, even drawing a parallel to the recent lockdowns that most of the world has been under, helplessly watching the outside, waiting for things to change. They also mentioned the likely namesake of Puparia, the Puparium, the outer skin that encloses certain larvae during the final stage of their development before they finally break free and become fully mature beings. TooAwesome Reviews, on the other hand, did not attempt to reach a single, solid conclusion about the meaning behind Puparia, but instead emphasized the subjectivity that one might view it with. Their interpretation is different from mine, just as mine is different from yours and yours is different from theirs. By itself, it is simply a snapshot of the human mind's innate imagination and creativity. Finally, I checked out an Underwhelming Unicorn. This joke fucking sucks. Who, in a video also talking about the short film The Illusionist, took Puparia as a metaphor for Tamagawa's depression and isolation after working in the anime industry and continuing into the year he spent not drawing at all. The humans in Puparia representative of this disenchantment with the world and art, with the female figure at the end representing the drive to explore and continue being creative, as the process of simply creating art holds limitless value, no matter how you go about it. So, with all that in mind, what is your interpretation of Puparia? What is mine? Well, let's see. As a result of my own musings, thoughts and beliefs, as well as taking in the analysis of those who came before, I believe that Puparia is about the power of creativity to save us from despair. The people in Puparia are surrounded by some of the most spectacular, bizarre and horrifying sights humanity could possibly see, and they all act like it couldn't be more mundane, more humdrum, more pointless. A bad bout of depression can suck all the wonder and awe and mysticism out of even the most fantastical elements of life, leaving you a listless wanderer, seeing everything but never truly taking it in. But that innate curiosity about the world, that want to create that almost seems intrinsic to the human condition, it never truly dies. It's always there, and if given the opportunity, it would be more than happy to lead you on the adventure of a lifetime. Having said all that, this is just my interpretation of Puparia, and while I do think it is correct, I also think that Traven Talks, TooAwesome Reviews, Underwhelming Unicorn, and you are all correct in your interpretations as well. I think the only important thing is that the film makes you hyped to go and try new things, take what you know and make something new the world has never seen before, to experience something you never have. Because no matter what you make and how you make it, I guarantee the experience will be priceless. This video was made as part of the second Novid challenge by Pause and Select, and if I am lucky, I will have gotten this out just before the month ends. I've linked their channel as well as the videos of the 3 YouTubers that I referred to in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, then like, comment, share, subscribe, and consider donating to my Ko-fi or pledging to my Patreon. There you can receive things such as credits in future videos, as well as access to directors' commentaries and behind the scenes work. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.